appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. You know what I mean? Going up against an incumbent, you know, who's entrenched, you know, you're spending a lot of time at what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question. When it all started for you in the mind becoming a candidate, what was it about Armond Budish that didn't sit right with you?
Well, it started for me with the county corruption, the probe into the
Even
county
before
corruption.
him, so it's not a
Right.
personal attack or personal thing.
Well, there were revelations with the IT project that there were rigged contracts or seemingly rigged contracts. So I said, all right, you know, somebody pressed me, a couple people pressed me that recruited me to run. And I was kind of thinking, okay. And I looked at it looked like it was something that needed to be done. So I said, okay. Then I got into it, and I got educated by Donna Walker Brown.
Yeah.
That's what's been going on with Child and Family Services, the high rate of child homicides in the last 4 years, and that's when it got serious for me. That's when it got real serious. Up to that point, it's just a candidate running in a race. But now you realize there's kids dying. The guy that's the county executive is responsible. It's a big responsibility. You got to figure out a way to handle it. Just come up with some solution so you at least minimize it if you can't solve it. Well, that's when it got real.
Well, you brought up Donna Walker Brown, but you also went on a listening tour.
I did.
Where you listened to your voters and the constituents.
Yeah.
What was it that you learned from them when you were on this tour?
There's a listening tour from Child and Family Services. It's aimed directly at the problems they had. Really, the line in the sand was Anaya Day Garrett. She's 4 years old. She got beat up by her mother's boyfriend. And 4 years old. I mean, this is a kid that wakes up every day worrying about getting hit. This is a kid that's not even worried about her next meal. She's worried. She's just worried she's going to get beat up. And it got so bad that finally she was killed. And that's when not just Donna, but a number of people started to get together, people from all over the county, not just some attention from the black neighborhoods, the black communities. This is getting serious amongst the whole county now. Some had to get done. The listening tour was put on by Child and Family Services because they wanted to hear what the problems were. And
the agency itself had put that on.
Yeah.
Okay, but you got wind of it and you attached.
Yeah, I went. But you know, the funny thing was they didn't really reach out to people that were affected by the problems at Child and Family Services. So that they had these nice little tours. They had a bunch of people from the county, and they had 3 or 4 people. Maybe it was a little bit more. And it was just.
How did that make you feel? What did that do?
It was condescending. It was just people were adults. You don't treat them like kids, and that's really what the listening tour was really. They were trying to do something. They didn't do a very good job. That's the way I felt. So I went to 4 or 5 of them. Yeah, and then in the end, when you say, well, we put on a listening tour, so we're on top of the problem. They were not on top of the problem. So yeah.
Well, Peter, you come from a well-established family, got a strong name, and we've been out the past couple days, and people want to generally know more about you. They have reservations for whatever reason, but then when you remind them every man is judged on his own merit, then they want to give a listening ear.
Yeah.
So can you speak to the fact that your family's name and what that means to you and what it stands for?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of Corrigans around. I'm not related to all the Corrigans. I'm related to some of them.
In the Justice Center, are you?
Right.
Are you related to the judges there?
I had an uncle that was a judge who died about 14 years ago.
Okay.
He was a judge.
Let's get that correct. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's get that correct.
And then there's some people that are probably cousins, but I don't really know them to be cousins. So he was a judge for a real long time. He was the first Corrigan elected in Cuyahoga County, and he was a judge for probably 30-some years, and then he retired, and then for about 7 or 8 years, and then he died. That was my that was the trailblazer. I had an uncle that was a priest, and then my father. The three of them were brothers.
Oh, your uncle was a priest?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
So, yeah, the three brothers that kind of blazed the trail. They did a lot for the city.
So you came up under them and you end up going to places like John Carroll.
I did for a year.
Wow. What did you take up at John Carroll?
Well, I ran track.
Okay.
Seriously.
All right.
So I did.
Okay.
And then I won our conference and I got recruited by Wake Forest.
Now I'm trying to, give the people a brief synopsis of
Yeah.
the background. Now you like we said at the onset of the show, you're also Chief Operating Officer of Prestolite
Right.
for 7 years, matter of fact.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
How was that experience?
Well, I got a physics degree from Wake Forest, and then I came back to Cleveland and I worked
Physics and engineering and that.
Yeah, I worked in that for a while, and then I got my MBA Case Western Reserve. And then I transferred. I went to Prestolite on their senior staff, and I kind of did these different positions, different jobs. I was engineering to begin with, and then I was in manufacturing and sales, and I ended up running their division in South America. So basically South America for 3 years.
Right.
Turned that around, and they made me the chief operating officer. So I was in charge of the whole company. It was like 2,800 employees all around the world.
That's a big accomplishment. That's like saying I started in the mailroom and then I worked my way up.
It's kind of like that.
Now that says a lot about you as a person and your character for them to make that jump like that.
Yeah.
Because if I'm correct, you were responsible for expanding Prestolite business around the world.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you want an accomplished man, a well-traveled man who can go out and possibly bring businesses and jobs back to the county. That would bode well in that thinking.
Yeah, really development's important. It's understand advanced development, understand how businesses get built. I have a lot of understanding of that. What we can do with just trying to bring in companies here.
Yeah.
One of the best ways to bring companies in. The politicians talk about growing jobs, I won't create a single job just from nothing.
Okay.
But when we can relocate companies here, one of the best ways to do that is you go to a big conglomerate like an Uneaton, and you say, I want a list of your suppliers. What suppliers do you need in Cleveland? And then they come up with a list, and they say to themselves, well, there's like 5 or 6 of these companies that we'd really like to have close to our factories here. Great, they're targets. We put them on target. We put a press on them from economic development from the county. That's the way to do it. The organization of Child and Family Services, which is the number one thing to do in this next administration is Child and Family Services. The organization is it's disorganized. People don't know who they work for. They don't have targets. They don't have places.
Do
They
you
don't have
think monies can
assignments.
be appropriated better?
Yeah, I think they need money now, but they also need to be streamlined so money comes out of it. So now they need money, but if they streamline it, money comes out of it as well. You still get better service. You still get better service if you pay attention to how it's running. So when you have a social worker who doesn't even know the chain of command or doesn't know what their workload is or who they're assigned to, there's a lot of confusion in there right now.
Let me ask you a question. Another thing, you want to continue the movement of cleaning up the corruption in the county.
Yeah.
How did the new charter sit with you?
I initially thought it was a good thing. Initially
you never did?
I'm sorry.
You said what?
Initially, the new charter was a good thing. They were trying to clean up the corruption before, but now it's all back. So
it's all back?
Yeah.
Can
so
you tell us what you
my
mean?
head.
Like,
Well, it's not all back, but there's still a lot of patrons, a lot of friends getting hired. There's a lot of people getting promoted that aren't necessarily the qualified. They get promoted because they're related to somebody, they're friends to somebody, and that demoralizes everybody in the county. So, what the charter was trying to do is clean a lot of that up. I just don't know if it fully did that. So, yeah, I don't know about the charter now.
So you have your own ideas on how to go about cleaning up the corruption?
Yeah, I'm not going to try to change the charter. I mean, it's there right now. Somebody else can do that, but the corruption. Yeah, in the business world, you do something called forensic accounting. Forensic accounting is an advanced form of accounting that takes a look at all these.
I think we need that in this county, baby. Yeah, forensic accounting.
Yeah. And I'll say this. connections with Harvard people. I have people in town that are willing to give up full-time equivalent employees to come and help us go through the budgets, to go through the accounts, just to clean them up, just to see if there are any problems with them. So I'm going out to the business world. I'm going to try to recruit 50 full-time equivalent people on loan to the county for free that can work 3 to 6 months just to help us clean up the budgets and make sure that we start from scratch.
Okay. Yeah.
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 I already talked to. I already have commitments from people to do that. I don't have 50, but I have commitments to get people in.
Now, Peter, another stickler of yours, property tax.
Yeah.
A lot of you that own your own homes, you know exactly what that means. Can you speak to that? What do you mean? What's your approach to that?
So my opinion is the property tax rollout was flawed. So I went through like 10 of these. I wasn't always in Cleveland, but I've done them in other cities. But there's been like 10 or 11 in my lifetime. This has been the worst of all. We had a 10% increase on average across the county. Social Security is increasing about a third as fast as the property valuations. So what's happening is anybody that's on a fixed income, anybody that's retired, they're getting forced out of their house. So we can't do that. We got to come up with a different solution. Could be homesteading. What I propose to do, put a cap on the property tax so it doesn't go out of control. Because people just can't afford to get it. They have to pay another $300-400 a
Like
year.
when you say a cap, like for a period of time.
The cap that it can't go above a certain amount.
For a period of time.
Yeah, for every 3 years until the next review. So instead of going up 60% this year, maybe it'll go up 15 and 15 and 15 over time, but not 60% all at once. That's a lot.
Well, all you professional people out there and people that own your own homes, Peter is a great candidate for you when it comes to that. You got a question? Can somebody give him one? You got a question? Okay, so you're saying the question was posed about 32,000 new jobs that the candidate, Peter, proposes to bring to the county. Can you talk to that, Peter?
Yeah, I can. I think it's important, Terrell. I mean, it's important. First of all, if we get 0.75% growth each year, that's 32,000 jobs. All right. Right now, the economy's growing at 3%. The problem that we have isn't so much getting the job growth. And I talked a little bit about bringing companies in. I was telling you before. So we target companies. We have a hit list, bringing those in, trying to build that 32,000. So first of all, we need a target, right? There's no target right now. Everybody says, oh, we're going to grow jobs. We're going to grow jobs. All the politicians. Okay, put a number down. So I put a number down. I want a number.
Right.
All right, that's number one. Secondly, we've got to play defense, right? So it's always there's growth, but then there's subtraction. And they never talk about the subtractions. We got a company, Phillips, out in Highland Heights right now. We got $60,000 jobs. There's 450 people getting laid off by the end of December. So we lose 450 people. Same time, Progressive's adding 700. Okay, so there's pluses and minuses. We got to play defense with the companies that are leaving, and you do that through the banks, the loan officers, the relationship managers, the loan committees who know when companies are in trouble and who know when companies want to pull the plug. So there's really very, very hard ways to do it. So you want to know if I'm going to do it, that's how I'm going to do it, Terrell. I think it's going to work. That's my plan. I want to come up with a way to get it done and go after it. We got to have a target. So that's what I'm saying.
Well, that's a great philosophy and a great way to look at it. And you've been putting it out there to the people. Have they been receptive to that plan?
Oh yeah. I mean, I get. First of all, I believe going out and talking to people is important. So I said this the other night. In the factories I ran, I always try to get to know people's names. And the way to do that was I had a list of people, their birthdays. So on their birthday, I went and I wanted to say hi to them, right?
Yeah.
From the guy that supervised the whole factory to the guy that was doing the cleanup at night, right? It's his birthday, go say hi, talk to him for a couple of minutes, and get to know people. When the senior guy gets to know people by name, it's real hard to lay them off. Right?
Yeah.
You start to feel responsible for people when you know them.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to talk to people, reach out, and know it. more, and frankly, the more I do that, the more responsibility I feel to help, turn Cleveland around. So one thing we want to do, and this is just something we've been talking about, so I did not take credit for this myself. We've been talking about it. We need a review board in the Child and Family Services. You know how like the police have a review board if there's a shooting. They get called in, but a review board, Child and Family Services. I think they would. Review board would cause people to have some place to go to say why is this agency not working. And if that review board reports up to the executive or the director of the service, maybe we can start reeling in some of that behavior. Because no, we really need people that care. Otherwise, we have this continual cycle, and what they call the victims, so people that are being taken care of, turn into perpetrators when they're 18 or 19 or 20. We don't want that. That's what's happening too. So if they're abused in the system, they're going to be abusers when they're adults. So
that's a good way to put it, Peter.
Yeah, they contracted this blue ribbon panel in the wake of Anaya Day, and the blue ribbon panel worked for 3 months, and then they released the report, and it was all redacted with a magic marker. It's like they get this outside review, and then they didn't share it with us. So what's going on? Yeah, why? Why isn't it transparent?
Now, what people may or may not know about Peter and his campaign was very instrumental on the Black History Museum stand in the Black community. Now, a lot of us probably didn't know what was going on with that. Can you tell us what was going on with that?
Yeah, it's real simple. In February, somehow their tax status got revoked. The county stopped recognizing it, and they, instead of just having tax exempt status like they had from 1984 on, all of a sudden they changed that status, and now the African American Museum started to accumulate tax debt. So basically, it was going to put them out. It was a charge they shouldn't have had to pay. So we got on a FaceTime video, and we ended up talking to somebody from
social media, the power of it, baby.
Yeah, absolutely. And we started not interviewing, but we answering questions about the museum, and then we on FaceTime and broadcasted out that this was wrong. What that was unfair, what was going on with the African American Museum. So we put that out, and a decision that was pending until after the election all of a sudden got decided within 2 hours. So Donna Walker Brown says, well, that was us that did that. We forced their hand. And, so I'm proud if that's what happened, I'm so proud of it. Let me say this. They got a plan to come out with an exhibit on the 2016 NBA champ Cleveland Cavaliers.
Is that right?
Yeah, they do. Right, so if they're going to have an exhibit on the Cleveland Cavaliers, it ain't going to just be an African American museum. It's going to be a Cleveland museum, because there's going to be a lot of people want to come in and see that. So I think what the county should do is help them market that exhibit.
Yeah, help them market that exhibit, baby.
And this time,
yes,
you're getting people from all over putting money into that museum because they want to see that exhibit. Because that was a hell of a great idea. So let's build them up. Let's try to get people in there to pay the bills to see the Cavaliers, exhibit. And they're even, if Francis Caldwell, they even have some testimonials from the Cavaliers. So they're starting to build that exhibit. I think if it gets marketed, that museum could be charging, $20 or $15 or $20 a head, and bringing in people on the weekends, and school kids from all over the county. So wouldn't it be good if we could, generate, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 from that museum just by helping them from the county side do a little marketing of an exhibit like that? Yeah, I think business makes perfect business sense to do something like that. Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense to do that.
Well, yeah, that goes to show you the humility of a person right there to want to dive into those politics, because, special interest was probably leaning on Mr. Budish about that facility, so for you guys to step in and do what you did is amazing. You need to be commended. You should be commended.
Thanks.
Because that's important. I mean, in the Black community, you got to have examples of greatness. Let me tell you,
It isn't special interest museum. It was the African American
a special interest museum.
So there's fair and there's fair. Let's be fair. Special interest didn't own that.
Peter, for those that don't know you, that want to get hip to you, give them a reason to go search your background and read up on you, so they can consider voting you into office.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of really good numbers background. I'm trying to learn the social background for, the face-to-face, person-to-person background. But I really ran very, very large organization, good knowledge of how this works. The other thing is I kept leaving the city, going out, living other places and working there, and I always kept coming back. I mean, this is my home. This is my home. It's my home, and that's why I care about it. I kept coming back. Probably the biggest moment for me in my life for Cleveland was when we all fought to bring the Browns back.
Ah,
right?
Yeah.
And
they built the championship team and left.
Yeah. the whole county gets together, brings the Browns back. That was a heck of a accomplishment. Everybody. It wasn't just one little group. It was everybody fighting. So that's in our DNA.
So that spirit, you want to galvanize that. You want to take that spirit and do things in the community.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do it, but I'm going to try, man. I'm really going to try. It's my home. I'm real proud of it. So,
hey, I appreciate you, Peter. Good luck to you.